So my commitment is to make a daily video, but some days I just feel like I've got nothing to say, nothing of value to say anyway. Sure, I could just shoot the breeze, and quite often I like to talk about something of value. Sometimes it's just not there, but my commitment is to make a daily video, so I guess I'm just going to talk, and sometimes just taking the actions, taking the steps, and then things unfold, right? And that's what I have found anyway. Maybe the most important thing in life is just to, well, actually, I was about to say take action, but what came to me there is to not to judge, right? Don't know why that just came to me, but yeah, maybe the most important thing in life is to not to have judgment, not to project judgment onto others or whatever. Because quite often what happens, and this seems to be like one of those universal law type things, is whatever we judge, we end up doing ourselves in maybe another form or something. So right now you might be judging me for driving around a roundabout with one hand, changing gear with my right hand on the other side while making a video. You're condemning me for it, whatever. But then maybe you'll do something and you won't even realize it. And you go, God, I just did something that maybe you checked your phone or something when you're driving, or did something. Oh, I would never do that. Quite often when we say we'd never do something, we do it. In another form at another time. The things that we say we would never do. I would never do that. We sit up on our high horse and look down at other people for doing things that we would never do. And quite often we end up doing those things. And so maybe the great secret is just not to judge. Yeah. Maybe that's it. Maybe fit into this little tight space here. Yeah. Maybe it's non-judgment. That's what's coming to me increasingly now, is just get some fresh air, and it's just not to judge. And I found that over time I've judged less and less and less, being less self-righteous, less self-righteous, because quite often when we're self-righteous we'll end up being self-righteous. There's this duality in this universe that we seem to be in the, it's kind of paradoxical because it's a universe, one verse, one song, but within the universe there is a duality, and maybe that's what makes up the song. Maybe it is the duality that creates the song within the one song. I find life to be incredibly paradoxical, and I'll think one thing and go, all right, I'll come to a conclusion of this is it, and then they'll just get torn down, and I'll see the complete opposite to be true as well. So it seems that life is a quandary. It's paradoxical, but for sure non-judgment is a wonderful thing on many levels. And it's not just judgment's not just about condemning. Judgment is about seeing things as either right or wrong or good or bad or whatever, because really we don't know. That's the thing, we really don't know what is right or wrong or good or bad. When an event happens, we say that is bad, or that person did something that was wrong, but how do we really know what's going on? What's the bigger picture? There's the story of the guy. What was he? He looked after horses, this guy, right? And I just kind of make it up as I go along, So the guy looked after horses, and his son, one day, when he was young, opened the gate, and all the horses ran out, and a lot of them disappeared and escaped and whatever, And all the people in the village goes, oh, that's so bad, that's so terrible, that your horses have gone away. That's a really bad thing. And he said, well, maybe. But then, like the next day, a massive tornado came sweeping through just where all the horses were, and just where the pen that they were in got totally torn up. by the twister, you know. And then after the twister was gone, the horse was able to round up all the horse, and they came back. So, you know, was it really bad, really terrible that the sun let them out, or maybe there's something actually working on a different level that no one really understands? And then anyway, the boy's son was a little bit older, and he was up on one of the horses, and he was riding along, and he fell off, and he broke his leg. And people in the village goes, "Oh, I heard about your son. Terrible. He broke his leg, you know, shattered his leg or whatever. He's going to be out of the picture for 6 months at least, and that's such a terrible thing. It's really bad." And the guy said, "Maybe." And so anyway, the very next week, there was a war happening, and the troops came along and tried to conscript everyone in the village that was able to go and fight into the war. And of course, the guy's son couldn't go because he was perfect age and everything, but he had a broken leg, so he couldn't go. So was it such a bad thing that he broke his leg? And so the story goes on, you know. Is it bad or is it good? Maybe, maybe not, right? So we don't really know. So whenever we judge something as good or bad, again, we don't really know. Maybe everything's just happening perfectly just as it should, and the things that we judge as being good or bad, they're just part of the perfect song that is happening in the universe. And sometimes there are high notes and sometimes there are low notes, and that which makes up the perfect song of the universe. And maybe when we get out of complete judgment, maybe that's when we find, you know, that's when we find the peace in our spirit. That's maybe when we are able to empty our mind, because our mind is so full of the judgments. And when our mind is full of judgments, then it's hard to put our attention on our vision, on creating a magical life, you know. We're in so much judgment of other people, of what they do. So maybe that's it. Maybe what you need, maybe what we all need, is just to judge less. Maybe judge less and feel peace more, and maybe love more. And maybe then the world would be a better place, maybe inside our heads anyway, or inside ourselves. You know, our world would be a better place. And maybe by our world being a better place, then that might have an effect on other people's worlds as well. Okay, see you in the next video.